So, Rick, if you would like to start with the list of the winners, what we have here are certificates and the cash awards that go with them. And so, yeah, why don't we start in a different category here?
That would be a good idea. It should be.
Right. Okay. Let's. Okay.
Let's go back and let's just do that one last.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Same here.
Is that Susan?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, Susan Kip for a jalapeno pepper.
First prize for the jalapeno pepper.
I don't. This one always strikes me as funny. Diana, well, where's Diana? Well, I cannot pronounce her name. But it's
Rick, would you get everybody up there so I can get a picture?
Make them come.
Make
Oh,
them come
yeah.
to you.
Susan, would you come?
Yeah, get up there and.
All right, let's stage this.
Like a graduation.
Hang on just a second, Diane.
Okay.
Okay, Susan, here's your award.
Okay.
All right, Diane, congratulations, here's your award. Janice is
Joe, Janice Tracy of Fiery Furnace.
She's not
No,
here.
she's in Sisters, I believe.
Sisters, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, honorable mentions then, in the water media category.
Cal's out.
She's here. There she is.
There she is.
And
Oh, Joan getting Curly for Moonglow.
I got it.
did you get it?
I'll get another one.
All right. Okay.
Oh, Richard Helmick for Bath. Oh, thank you.
There he is.
Oh, you're fast today.
Second prize for
Liz Walker,
Ms. Liz
Summer Knows.
Walker. She's not here, I believe. All right. This wonderful person.
Oh, yes, Katie Sandy.
Katie
Rick
Sandy. Great. And Diane Hurst, honorable mention. And Gail Haskett.
For Subtle Tree.
For Subtle Tree. All right, we're going to do the oil and acrylic on canvas category.
That's me.
Yes, it is.
That was awkward. We had to work on that one.
Yeah. Oh, here comes some more music.
Yeah.
Hi.
Next is Gina Kendall, Loving Bond.
And this is a very special one. John Turley, third place, is for all three of his paintings, which are grouped together. Honorable mention in the oil and acrylic category, Elaine Evans.
Tree of Life.
And Denise Weston.
Walks of Embarcadero, Newport.
Beautiful piece. our biggest two awards. The Best in Show is Janice Innes.
Got it.
Okay, thank you.
And for the first time in SWA history, we have an award in honor of Wanda Brewster. This is a special award, which goes to Helmut Robert for the 3 of his exquisite paintings up above there. All right.
Well, leave anybody out?
I think everybody is taking care of it, everyone that's here. So, yeah, we'll get these to the other item. Now, I'd like to present Kathi Rick. Is she around the corner?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And Kathi, where would you like to start?
Could I get a picture?
You'd like to say a few words about your process? And
Sure.
she doesn't.
No, I'm good. Thank you. I stepped in, Anne is ill, so I stepped in to do the jurying, and was really overwhelmed with the amount of work. I mean, the amount of, not work that I was doing, but there was 130 pieces, and we had to choose 100 of them. So luckily, we've got the gallery space because I think the show came together extremely well. As far as visually, I remember when I was jurying, a lot of them, I would pick multiples of the same artist because I was thinking how good they would look in the gallery space, which is part of it. But there's a lot of criteria that you use when you go into judging a body of work. I always tell my students that, you know, you could have an entirely different juried show depending on who the person that you pick is. And a lot of it doesn't necessarily have to do with the, you know, the talent of the artist, or, I mean, it does, but I mean, you're gonna get a different point of view, whoever you choose, basically. What's interesting though is when we were putting this show together and conferring with the rest of the Cave Gallery team, a lot of the choices were choices they would have made too. So it seems to be somewhat of a consensus. Now, one of the other considerations is that everybody has talent, obviously, in this group. It's a very talented group. And a lot of the things I looked for were not necessarily process or how talented you were in a specific genre, but taking some sort of genre and making it your own is very important to me as an artist. You can see the best painted piece in the world, but it can leave you cold. So something else has to come through. And I really looked for the personalities of the artist, somebody that took this medium and took it beyond the basic concept of using this medium and pushing it into a realm where they made a statement themselves. That's important to me as an artist, and that's important to me as a viewer. The other thing that's important, I think, as an artist, what you guys provided was, it's never a one-way street. The very fact of making art to put up on the wall or put on a pedestal constitutes a collaboration and also a dialogue between the viewer and the artist. And it should be able to circumvent all the art history you know, or all the artists that you know. A person, I have a lot of students that are afraid to go to the Portland Art Museum because they're afraid of looking stupid, because they've never encountered art before, and they stand in front of it and they're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be getting here. Obviously I'm stupid, this is intimidating. So I really look for that kind of a connection that can be made between the artist and the viewer. So that informed a lot of my choices. We might as well start here with this particular piece. Everybody loved this piece. The person who bought it was giddy with delight last night. He couldn't stop talking about how excited he was to bring it home. And this is one of those pieces that, obviously, process-wise, you knew what you were doing. Yeah.
So I love the process. I love the application. That aspect of it was all there.
But that's not the most important thing to me. Beyond that, there has to be another, like I said, there's another connection. And the thing that really sold me is, first of all, it creates a place. It creates a feeling of being there in this place. It's a place I've never seen before, but a place that's interesting enough for me to visit when I look at this. The thing that really clinched it for me is this little blue line here. And it's those little tiny touches where the artist comes out that makes a big statement. It can be, and it's very subtle. It's a subtle piece, but it's very profound. And like I said, the guy that bought it was just, I had to have it in my house. I want to look at it every day. I feel like I'm standing there. So he really had an emotional response to this piece. So that's why I chose that one.
Thank you.
Yes. If you want, these two pieces over here, I'll talk sort of in a group. I'm not going to talk about necessarily individual pieces. But if we talk about the bear picture, every person that has seen that painting has had a response to it. Every person that has looked at that has been delighted. And it's the way that the colors have been used, the warmth of the colors that have been used. The fact that, and this something like this subject matter could be sort of cheesy, but it's not. Somehow it's very, very honest and true. And it denotes a lot of emotion for the people that looked at it. Everybody's loved it. The piece in the corner with the little tree houses, I look at that one and the light is amazing. This is one of those ones that I did have a reaction to the process or the facility of the artist. The use of light on that is freaking amazing. The way the sunlight falls on the trees, again, it's profoundly, again, it's a delightful painting. I mean, it's just lovely. But it was the light that really caught me on that one. And that's where the mixture of, like I say, the aspect of the painting and the subject matter and what it's communicating came together on that one. I'll take a look at this one right here. This is one of the watercolors. This was this is one of the ones that, I found that I was choosing a lot of figurative work, but there was also a lot of very good abstract work as well. This is one of the abstract pieces that spoke to me. I was just reading the allegory of Plato's cave, and this really reminded me of that for some reason. I liked the abstract element of it. I liked how it was contained and very personal. Great use of color. There's this little sense of doom or foreboding about it, and yet the colors aren't particularly dark. But I very much feel like I'm going into a cavern, so that again there was that emotional response to it. This piece over here was in the mixed media. This is another one where I was less interested in the figurative or emotional response to it, and just loved the way that the artist worked the surface. This is all about surface, it's all about abstract, it's all about, the colors are beautiful, beautiful color use. It looked like this person really jumped into the realm of that multimedia, mixed media, and really worked it. Had fun with it, made a really compelling piece. These three pieces had to go together. So this was awarded, these three pieces were awarded one. Can you guys hear? Come over here. I had to put these three pieces together. I couldn't separate them from each other. They seem to be actually some sort of a narrative. It starts in one place, compacts on itself, and then blows to pieces. So there was a narrative aspect to it. I love the abstract notion of it. The painting is beautiful, the painting itself is beautiful, and the color use is exquisite. It's also extremely unusual, and this is another instance where I think I was startled by it. It's like this artist is showing me something that I've never seen before or experienced before, which I appreciate as a viewer. I love this little watercolor. Like, who would think to make a watercolor of waiting at the airport? And I think that there's sort of a tradition in a lot of these genres of painting certain things, And this one jumped out because it was such an unusual subject. It was really delicately painted. You don't think necessarily of sitting at an airport, looking at airplanes, looking at trucks as delicate subject matter. So there was this weird sort of juxtaposition between the way it was treated and the subject matter that I thought was pretty interesting. This one's fantastic, joyous, another mixed media. Somebody really jumped into the surface aspect of the painting. Love the colors, harks back to like the 60s, maybe even the 50s. Love the color use, really weird colors. And they actually used, I don't know, it was very clever. It was very clever. So again, the personality of the artist seemed to jump out of this piece as well. It wasn't just a, what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't just an exercise in painting. Something else was being communicated. All right, let's see. I can come up here. There's not a lot of room here, but you guys can come in here if you want. Is this interesting?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, keep it up, don't
God
stop.
knows I can talk. I can talk for hours. Anybody else want to, which room? We can get 6 feet apart.
6 feet apart.
Okay. All right. I thought that this Moonglow watercolor was also really interesting. Is everybody okay? Oh, wait till people. I thought this was really interesting. I liked the way it was. I had to have a double take to see that it was a watercolor. Again, it's got this. It's got a beauty of line and shape. It's cool, obviously, but it's an interesting perspective, and it looks like a dream. It's very dreamy. Looks like a like something from somebody's imagination. And again, you get a sense of the artist from the piece as well. Love this little bird. This sort of has the same feeling that the bears do. There's a whimsy to it. There's a naivete to it, and I mean that in the best sense of the word. I love the way that the chosen materials were colored pencil is something that we all sort of grew up with kids, and there's a childlike aspect to this as well, which I found very charming. And I love the detail. I mean, there's a lot of detail. You can actually see the reflection in the eye of the bird. So there's a lot of care taken with it. And then we come to this one that I had to fight somebody. She got to it first. This piece, is this person here?
Yes. Rick is.
I loved this piece. Somebody told me that there was a dog in it that you painted out.
Yeah.
Thank you for painting the dog out. It would have been completely different with a dog in it. It's funny.
It's okay.
I was talking to the woman that bought it because I was saying how much I had loved it too. I was actually going to buy it myself. I had a very strong emotional reaction to this painting, as small as it was. It was just a very potent thing in this very small package. I keep wanting to take the frame off because it needs like room. It needs like, I need it to be this broad expanse. I mean, it's this broad expanse in a very tiny space. I feel like I keep wanting to jump into it. But it's very sorrowful as well. And it's full of narrative, potent narrative. You can bring your own stuff to it. Both she and I had different interpretations of what was going on here. But something like this really speaks to you. When you can involve somebody to the point where they can stand in front of it and start bringing in their very own narrative or their own stories to it, you know you've done something right. So this is extremely well done, and like I say, I love the potency in this tiny, tiny little frame. Is this person here?
Yes, she is.
This is me.
That's Denise.
Right.
She did this one over
Love
there.
those. Yeah, I know. I love the way you use light. It was extraordinary. I loved both of those. Yeah, it was beautiful. These pieces, we'll let everybody come up here. Am I making sense?
Yeah, you're doing great.
All right.
but if you step up a little closer, it'll be easier for me.
All right, so in honor of this person, from what I read about her, she was very much a figurative artist, and she seemed to be more of a traditional artist. And I felt that this would be honoring her to choose these pieces. These are 3 pieces that, this is so funny. I told Alan that I could not make the decisions on the art until I saw them in person. Seeing this on the website doesn't do them any justice at all. When they came here, I was like, holy crap. They're like tiny little jewels. And I love the fact that they're tiny. I mean, I think that people are really impressed by big pieces. It can be super overwhelming, but when you can draw someone in, one of the best shows I ever saw in my life, and I've seen a lot of freaking artwork, was a printmaking show where the rules of the exhibition were you could not have anything bigger than 3 inches by 3 inches. And when I went to this gallery space, I had the most interesting conversations with people in a gallery because we had to get close. And when we got close, we started talking about stuff. It was super intimate. It was an incredibly intimate experience. So I'm always super impressed when people who create things that are small have such a big impact. So I love these. They're like little jewels. And I love the fact that they're up here in the black gallery because it gives them the chance to sort of shine on their own. And then there's this, like I was saying, I absolutely love the way you use light. Love the way you use light on both of these. Definitely a sense of afternoon sunlight on a summer's day is exactly what I got from this. But beautiful use of color, and I'm always amazed. I'm not a painter myself. I got my degrees in fine art photography and then have gone on to installation and multimedia work, but I am in awe of painters that can show light with paint. That's amazing to me. All right, so let's go right along here. These 2 pieces, I'll start with this one. Yeah, COVID. I mean, we're all sick of it. But what I liked about this one was it was, the fact that it was about COVID was secondary to me. It's your piece, right? It's secondary to me. I just thought it was the most interesting, weird little cityscape. I mean, it's also, I am a great lover of political art. In my world, all art would be political, but that's just me. So I appreciate that aspect of it. And also the fact that you've got this, this horrific landscape, but it's got this delicate, washed colors. It's like, again, that push and pull between subject matter and the way the medium was treated. So I love that about it.
Oh, thank you.
Was this person here? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I freaking love this. I'd have this in my house. That's the highest compliment I can give anybody. There's something about it that's so joyful. And the colors used are, I haven't quite figured it out yet. It seems like a fantasy. It seems like a figment of someone's imagination, but in the back of my head, I think there really is a bird that probably looks like this. I'm not sure. But the way you've used this is another one where the medium came into consideration, because I love the fact that I don't really know how it was done. And the color choices were fantastic. The color choices were great. this one is beautiful. E, where is E? Oh, there's B. This one all took our breath away. And, you know, as I look, I knew it was you when you walked in the door. And okay, both of these are great pieces, right?
No, come in.
Okay. Both of these are great pieces. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say was, if you guys take photographs and can send them to the cave, we'd really appreciate it because we'll put it on our website. Okay? All right, both of these are great. Both of these are masterfully done. What's the difference between the two? For me, it's always, again, it comes back to my relationship to the piece of artwork that I'm looking at. Is it engaging enough for me to linger? Is it engaging for me enough to be involved? And this one has it. And the difference is because she's looking at me.
She's what?
Looking at me. Oh. And I always tell my students when I give them an assignment of a portrait, self-portrait, you want to engage your audience immediately, have your subject looking at the camera. Because I cannot look away from her. There's such majesty and beauty in this face. And the fact that it is masterfully done is secondary to the experience that I'm getting from it, which is what I look for in a great piece of art. So, is that everything?
I think
Is that
that's it.
everybody?
Yeah.
All right, so that's all
Oh,
I
actually, we did have the one glass piece of the
Oh, yes. Okay. I don't think I got a word.
Did we get a? Yeah. Gail? Yeah, okay, maybe not.
But that's okay. I mean, I will talk about the glass piece though.
Yeah.
We had trouble figuring out where to put the glass piece.
Yeah.
It really needed more light than having it hanging on the wall. So, and we also had a tough time finding a stand because it's warped on the bottom. But we moved it so that it could get more light. And 3D pieces, I would just, for those of you who are part of this group, we'd love to see more 3D pieces.
Yeah.
We actually had 2 or 3 people last night talk about that, the fact that they wish that there was more sculptural elements, but they're very welcome. All the 3D pieces are very, very, very much welcome. So anyway, it's a great body of work, you guys. I loved seeing it in person. It's a lot of difference between seeing it online. I've lived with it for almost a month, looked at it, and then seeing it in person really cemented my reactions to a lot of the pieces. Like I say, it's great art. There's only so many you can choose, but you guys did a great job, so here's to you.